Talk shoes. Recorded live.
All right. Welcome, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of our boxing podcast, your alternative to agenda-driven and biased boxing coverage, both mainstream and underground. As usual, we have our same panel of co-hosts. We got Big Cooler, Colossal Boxing Talk. We got Bo and Bernard, the Truth and Facts About Boxing. 2K from the guys of Boxing Talk. And I am Twine the Divine Liberty, a.k.a. the Black Victor Newman up in this bitch, representing the Rocky Mountain Boxing. Collectively, we are known as the Movement, so thank you for tuning in. How you doing today, fellas? You ready to tackle these topics?
Doing all right,
Let's knock
man.
it out.
Ready, man.
Let's knock it
All
out,
right.
fellas.
All right, for sure. We got a good show, a lot of good topics lined up, so we're going to kick it off with the fights we saw from the weekend. We had a healthy weekend of boxing this past weekend. A lot of good fights. We're going to start off with the lightweight battle for the IBF crown. Robert Easter took on Richard Commey of Ghana on Friday for the vacant IBF title. It was a great fight where both fighters were battle-tested and went the distance. Robert Easter ended up claiming the title via split decision. Fellas, let's get a breakdown of the fight and how you saw things. Starting off with our stylist breaker down, our expert himself, QK the God. What did you see in the fight, man?
Man, that fight pissed me off. It was an excellent fight. But the thing about me, man, I hate seeing a fighter who has pretty much a game plan that should be etched in stone. He should not deviate from. And this particular game plan should lead him to a clear-cut victory. And Robert Easter did not do that. He gave up his height and reach, just like I said he would in the last podcast and in one of my videos that I put up on my channel. I said that he gives up his height and reach. Whenever he gives a guy hurt, you can see him swinging for the fences, getting wild on the inside, and it gives his opponent the opportunity to land the punches that they want to land, and that's exactly what we've seen in this fight. Richard Commey did exactly what I said he would do with that jab. He jabs and leaves that motherfucker out there. I was yelling at the screen. My wife was yelling. We was like, dude, come over the top with your straight right hand, please, okay? And when he finally did it, it was in the 12th round, and what happened? You saw Richard Commey do a goddamn African dance. he almost fell down. You know what I'm saying? that was from the straight right hand. The punch that I've been calling for 11 previous rounds. But it was an excellent showing for Richard Commey, man. This fight could have gone either way. I did have Robert Easter Jr. winning the fight. But Richard Commey, if somebody comes on here and says, yo, Richard Commey dictated the pace, he brought the fight to Robert Easter. He had Robert Easter on his back foot. He had his back up against the ropes. I would not disagree with that person. The only thing that I did see is that Robert Easter was bringing off combinations from a distance. He was popping them with the jab with ease. So I did give the slight edge, even with the knockdown that really wasn't a knockdown. I did give that slight edge to Robert Easter. But Richard Commey, man, he could do whatever he wants, man, in the future, man. He did it. He had an excellent showing.
All right, we're going to swing it over to Big Cooler, Colossal Boxing Talk. What was your take on that fight, man?
It definitely wasn't as an impressive performance in terms of Easter Jr. dictating and controlling the pace of the fight as he did against Arjun Mendez a few months ago. But, I mean, he entertained us. You definitely tell he got that fighter spirit about him. But sometimes he's going to have to learn, and maybe he learned his lesson from this fight that it's okay to, care about yourself while you're in the ring. Box, move, be active just enough to, get the victory and be impressive, but you don't got to go to war all the time because, I mean, you can debate, you can say that he lost the fight, which is no wrong answer in this argument, but, I mean, he needs to continue to use his jab, throw his right hand, use his physical advantages and not really give himself up in his fights or he's going to pay the price. And also stop retreating with your head up, your hands down, because Commey almost made him pay. Even though it wasn't a knockdown, it was ruled a knockdown. Against better competition, he's going to face a bigger uphill battle. But it was a solid performance. I still see him as the future of 135. He just needs to tighten up on some things,
All right, Bo, what was your take on last Friday's fight between the two? What did you get out of it?
I got out of it exactly what we had talked about. The only thing I got out of this fight, which is what we had been saying, which is we knew what Easter was susceptible to doing, which was giving up his height sometimes. So what I got out of it was we didn't know anything about Commey, but we found out a lot about him, and we discovered a new player at 135. And I'm just going to say the crowd, I think the crowd was actually more something that you paid attention to than the fight. And I'm saying that because Robert Easter pissed like 2K. He pissed me the fuck off. And when he had Commey hurt, I'm thinking to myself, he had him hurt, and what did he do? He walked up on him and smothered his punches. I'm like, take a step back. All you got to do, take a half an inch step back and go back to what you did that got him hurt. And when he had him hurt and he did it, I just looked at the TV, and I just put the motherfucker on me and grabbed my laptop. I said, this motherfucker going to hold 12. I ain't gonna even lie. When he did it, because he did, if you watch it, he did it twice. He had him hurt. He walked up on him and smothered his punch. The referee separated. Okay, he hit dude, had him hurt again. While he was smothered, I just put my shit on pause and went to my lap. I said, this shit is going to the decision. I can't watch that because it's just like Rams Bartholomew. When I saw Rams Bartholomew, I was on my fucking Twitter. I was texting Cuban 305 and Pedro Diaz and saying, hey, what kind of shit is this? I'm watching Rams Bartholomew doing here. Yeah, I'm like, what kind of shit is this he doing? So, I mean, I think the problem with Robert Easter is he's a tall person with he's a tall person, but his mentality of fighting don't fit his height and his attributes that he has. He wants to be a different fighter, and he needs to use his attributes. But I mean, it was a good fight. 135 just got hot, and he's a young champion, and there's a big bullseye on his back because there's some hungry dogs in that 135-pound division. So
with that being said, let me follow up with this real fast. Like you said, 135 is a very intriguing division right now. Not necessarily deep, but there's definitely some good fights that can be made out there. What would you guys like to see as far as opposition for Bunny Easter next, or Commey even? Let me start off with both since you brought that up. What do you think we should see him fight? Who do you think we should see Easter fight next?
Who I think Easter should fight next? I think he should take the next two fights. Now that he's a young champion, he should fight somebody probably in the lower, like from anywhere from 6 to 10. But the fight that I'm interested in seeing him fight, me and 2K talked about it. After about two fights, I wouldn't mind seeing him fight Mikey Garcia. I think he needs two. I think he needs about 2-3 fights. I think he needs about 2 or 3 fights in him, and I would like to see him in there against Mikey on a competitive level. I would like him in against Mikey Garcia, and I think that's where we will find out who and where Robert Easter is and what force he's going to be.
What about you, 2K? Opposition for him, who would you like to see him even in the unification bout? Who do you think he should go after if that was something, he mentioned in the fight he wanted to unify titles? Who would you be gunning for if you were Easter Jr.?
Man, I really want to see that Rancis Bartholomew fight. Bartholomew might go to 140, though, but if he decides to stay at 135, I definitely want to see that. If I want to see Robert Easter against a guy that I think he would beat but will be an excellent name on his resume, whenever he takes Anthony Crolla's belt, Mr. Jorge Linares. I'd like to see that fight as well. And then lastly, I'd like to see him against Dewan Zlaticanin. I think, the pressure that Zlaticanin applies will be a good test for Robert Easter. I know he got clipped against Richard Commey, but if he gets clipped by Zlaticanin, it might be a different story. Even though I think Commey has a better knockout ratio, but Zlaticanin can still crack, man, and that's actually his style. So that would be a good matchup as well for me.
Okay. I guess that's going to lead us to our next fight breakdown that we had over the weekend. On Saturday, Kell Brook of the UK skipped the division to take on middleweight kingpin Gennady Golovkin for his IBF and WC belts because the WBA was the only organization smart enough not to sanction shit. Gennady won by 5th round stoppage. Let's get your thoughts on this. I'll go ahead and start with Cuba Loca on this one. What did you take from the fight stylistically, Bo?
What fight is this? I'm sorry.
Triple G versus
Triple
Brook.
G and Brook, yeah.
Triple G versus Brook. All right. Yeah, that's a lot that I took from the fight. It's not so much as what I took from the fight. It's so much as what was bothering me that I was hearing on social media after the fight. And just to answer 2K, Bartholomew, he's going to 140.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I know.
He's not hanging at 130. He's going to 140. But yeah, I was impressed with Kell Brooks. He was a lot tougher than I gave him credit for. I'll be honest with you. It wasn't just him about, we said, okay, it's a big payday, and some people might have thought that's what it was just about. And if that was the case, he'd have went down as soon as he got hurt in the first round, and he didn't do that. But as far as finding out stuff from Triple G, if anybody has been watching Triple G and following boxing, what you saw from Triple G, there was nothing really to learn from him there because all the things we talk about and you hear on social media about the head moving and all that, I mean, that's always been there. That's nothing new to anybody that's been watching it. But he didn't have anything to worry about with Kell Brooks. So the way he fought Kell Brooks, he fought that way because he knew he had nothing to worry about. Because when he had something to worry about a big puncher returning punches, which was David Lemieux, he didn't fight David Lemieux like that. He boxed him because he knew. So I learned a lot from Brooks. I learned he was tough. We always knew he was a big 147-pounder. So it seems like he's comfortable with being at the higher weight. He said something about, being able to eat like he wanted and everything like that. So he's going to go to 154, and that's going to make 154 really intriguing. But, there really wasn't that much you could learn from him because everything played out the way it was. The only thing I'll say is he didn't blow him out. And it goes to show that the success Brooks had with keeping Triple G on his back foot and throwing his hands, if you can do that, you stand a much better chance against Gennady Golovkin.
All right, let me get your take on the Big Cool. What did you take from the fight from both fighters?
Triple G, 5th round TKO over a guy he was supposed to beat. Kell Brook, tough, talented, should go to 154. Pretty much that's it. I mean, like Bo said, we know about Triple G. We learned something about Kell Brook has a better chance than we all anticipated going up to 160 to face Triple G, and pretty much on to the next guy for both fighters.
All right. Let me take another spin or another perspective on this one. 2K, I'm going to come to you for this one. What about the stoppage? There's been some fervor in a lot of the boxing groups we're all a part of about whether or not the stoppage was good or bad. What did you think about the timing of the stoppage from Brooks' trainer, Dominic Ingle?
Oh, well, initially I thought the stoppage was good, and then after I watched it again, I thought the stoppage was good. I mean, Kell Brook broke his orbital bone on the right side of his face, and Gennady Golovkin was pouring on a lot of pressure, and whether or not a lot of people felt that Golovkin was missing a lot of his shots in that 5th round, he was actually hitting him a lot of times as well. So he was taking damage up against the ropes. Kell Brook was doing the wrong game plan at that time, and that is to move vertically backwards away from Gennady Golovkin, allowing him the mid-range distance he needs to get the full extension on his punches. So Kell Brook was feeling every bit of the power at that point in time. I think it was a great stoppage, especially considering the broken orbital bone.
All right, and what about you, B? Did you have anything or any thoughts about as far as the timing of the stoppage?
You know what? I was hitting 2K back up in the group where when I saw the stoppage, I thought it was bullshit at first. I was like, hold on. He's still moving around. He's still alert. And then 2K, just like what 2K said, look at it again. I looked at it again. The stoppage was correct. It was the right call. I didn't know he had a fractured orbital bone at the time. So when he was on the ropes, he took a left hook and a right hook, and his head did move, so he did get hit. It was the right call. It was the right call. That's all I could sit there and say. And it was I want to thank 2K for correcting me on it when he said he told me to look at it again. And so when I saw it the second time, it was the right call. So, but I give much respect to Kell Brook for stepping up and taking that fight. But I'm going to sit here and say this. This is what we were talking about guys moving up in weight divisions and getting hurt. So a fractured orbital bone is a potential of a career-ending injury. So I wish you nothing but the best and to get better and everything like that and come back.
Yeah, I definitely was upset about some of the people saying it was an earlier bad stoppage. You could literally see Kell was breaking down, and he did a couple more rounds of that. You would have been looking at some Margarito type shit with his eyeball hanging out of his shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I definitely think it was a good stoppage by his trainer. As far as Kell Brook, he said after the fight he was thinking about moving to 154 and wants to take on the winner of Canelo or Liam. Let me get somebody's opinion on that. I'll swing it to you, Big Cool, on that one.
I definitely would favor him over Liam. I would give him a great chance to beat Canelo, but he kind of, I don't know. Canelo is a tricky fighter. He's definitely talented and has fast hands and powerful, but I mean that's more of an even matchup. It'd be a better matchup than the one that's gonna take place Saturday. I mean this Saturday, I tell you that, but I mean I give him a great shot to beat either one of those guys. I mean Brook is a big guy. He looked good at 160, and dropping down to 154, which everybody say he's a natural junior middleweight anyway. Why not? I mean I think he fits right in with some of these guys at 154. I think he's definitely capable of beating a handful of them. So we'll see what his next move is. Hopefully he makes a full recovery from the broken orbital bone and doesn't have any, future setbacks because of it. But like I said, I definitely would pick him to beat Smith if Smith somehow beats Canelo, and we'll give him a great shot to beat Canelo if everything is okay with his face and eye and everything.
All right, and let me swing this one over to 2K. Do you think him saying that after the fight was like an attempt at another money grab type of thing? Because, there's a lot of gas at 154, and I don't really necessarily see Kell Brook doing that well against a lot of them. So, Liam and Canelo are actually better fights stylistically for him to take on and bigger money. Let me get your thoughts on that, 2K.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to, I don't shout out people very often, but shout out to 78 because he actually said on wax before I could actually get to it, so I'm going to give him his credit. He mentioned that the ducking that Kell Brook did to Errol Spence has worked out well for him because now people are talking about him matching up with Canelo at 154, even though he lost to Gennady Golovkin. He felt that if he would have lost to Errol Spence, then a Canelo fight would have never been on the horizon. I 100% agree with that. I think that is the best fight for him at 154. Liam Smith is obviously at the bottom tier of the champions, with the exception of Jack Polke. Those two are probably on the same level. So, yeah, the winner of Liam Smith, Canelo, and I think Canelo loses to four of those guys at 154 as well. So I think the winner of that fight is probably the best matchup for him. I would hope for him. I wish he would go back to 147, but it doesn't look like that will happen. So I mean, I can't say much about that, man. It's definitely a money grab, and it's something that I think he should pursue since it's on the table. He'll get his biggest payday.
There's only so much ducking you can do, though.
Say it again.
Yeah. I said there's only so much ducking you can do. You can duck them welterweight. You can't duck, you can't duck the junior middleweight, man. You're gonna have to fight them or retire.
Yep. You're exactly correct. Yep.
Speaking of ducking, we got the trainer of the man that Kell Brook is ducking on the call right now. Let me go ahead and welcome trainer of both Errol Spence Jr. and Jermell Charlo. Both titleists at the moment. Errol Spence contending for a title, waiting for what's going to happen with his mandatory title status. And Jermell Charlo, who just won a belt against John Jackson in a couple months. Welcome to the show, Derrick. How you doing, man?
I'm good. How y'all doing, man?
Doing good. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for joining in, man. I'm going to go ahead and let my panel take over on this one and, go live with their questions. Bo, you got anything you want to ask Mr. Derrick James?
Hey, Mr. James, thank you for joining us, man. We appreciate you taking time out.
You're welcome.
I'm going to ask you a question that somebody sent me to ask you. And, of course, it's about the controversial statement you made when you said that Errol Spence would knock out both Brooks and Gennady Golovkin. And somebody wanted me to ask you, you know, were you drinking at the time you said this? But I'm going to ask you.
Wait. Well, because I didn't want to talk about that, but let me get some clarity to that. Everybody talks like boxing is a one-way street. When you talk about Triple G, you talk like the other guys aren't punching back. He has not stopped one person from landing punches on him. He has no defense. So you talk about him like if 5 years ago he would have fought more than Super 6. Or you talk about like he would have fought. Wait, listen. Well, he would have fought when in the 90s. What you wouldn't be talking about him 5 years ago. But listen, check this out: Roy Jones, James Toney, Bernard Hopkins, Reggie Johnson. Who else? Michael Nunn.
Michael Nunn.
Listen, man. Listen. So what y'all talking about? Think about this. What? Jesus hadn't came back yet. Listen. So what are we talking about? So this is the thing about he's here in the right time at the right point where the middleweight division is very weak. So listen, Roy Jones, James Toney, Reggie Johnson, Gerald McClellan.
Yeah.
Right? Listen. Look, Mike McCallum. Well, Mike was a little bit before them. He just caught the residual end of that when he fought Roy. But listen, so we can go through these errors and these points in boxing. So why is everybody talking like, come on? I didn't want to talk about the dude because, listen, I'm a boxing guy, so I watch boxing to see what he does or he doesn't do. So I'm watching it, objectively. I want to see what he does, what he does well, what he doesn't do well. That's why I'm watching. So it's like you studying and watching. So my eye is different than the people who never box eye. And my eye is different than a lot of people who have boxed. This is about what I teach, what I see. So when I say what I said, listen, people talk like this guy he's hitting a heavy bag. Because that's what everybody's saying. And what I mean by that is that nobody's hitting back. Yeah. Nobody's punching back. So was I thinking when I said that he hadn't stopped somebody from hitting him yet? Did you see how he has to plant to punch? So that's why he kept having a struggle. Did you see how he can't judge distance because he kept missing to the body when he's right in front of the guy? Did you see how he kept throwing the overhand right over the top? Did y'all not see that? I mean, so see, these are different things that my eyes see that the other person may not. Nobody wants to acknowledge a beast. So what would you call Bernard Hopkins at 50 years old, who probably will still blow him out the water because he's too big for him? What would you call Roy Jones, who out of all those guys, Roy Jones did all those guys? See, my question is, don't ask me my crazy. My question is, ask Roy Jones or Bernard Hopkins, who have to commentate this fight, how they really feel about when they watch it. They got to talk good about it, like he's better than them.
All right, I definitely agree. You are asking that breaking down.
Like he's better than them. So see, this is the thing about this. Listen, he couldn't contend with the fighters 5 years ago in the Super 6.
I agree.
Kell,
no, we agree.
Well, listen,
I believe we agree. We've been in arguments all day with cats talking about something like G would be Hagler.
Okay, yeah. Listen, man. We ain't got to go that far. Listen, right. He would have to get past Jermaine Taylor's jab in his right hand because you can't miss him.
Yep.
Listen, you cannot. Think about this. When somebody is not afraid and will fight back, they hit him. That's all I'm saying. And listen, Errol Spence punches, he fought the heavyweight. So when I said what I said, listen, this is a two-way. You see how slow he was. Listen, did you see it? Because, I mean, look, he's very slow, he's very lethargic. If he was sick, man, listen, man, he said he wasn't sick. He said nothing was wrong with him. He gave himself a 3. How the heck can y'all call me crazy? He gave himself a 3 or a 4. That's what he said, right? Did you say that?
Yeah.
Okay, so why is it that I'm crazy? I know my guy can punch. I know my guy has great defense. People say, oh, man, you know, listen. Somebody said, well, Errol Spence get hit with clean punches. Well, for one, you're boxing, so he's being aggressive. Somebody may land a punch in time, but go look at the punch stats of the amount of punches landed on him. When he fought Chris Algieri, for 5 rounds. He had only landed 5 punches, just 1 punch a round. And but they had him, I said 5. Punch test had him landing 3 punches in 5 rounds. So,
wow.
So think about this. At the end of the fight, when he fighting Pacquiao, he was on Pacquiao.
Yeah.
We saw the fight with Linda Bundle, and the face of someone tried to call me out saying that what's the guy named Keith Thurman's face was clear when he fought Linda Bundle at the fight.
Yeah.
His eyes were swollen, like black eye. One of them, the forehead was all bruised up. So see, listen, this is what he did to those guys. If you look at the fight, I mean, he beat. Listen, before they talked about Triple G, because they weren't talking about Triple G, who were they talking about before that? Provodnikov.
Okay.
Until Krzysztof Glowacki put a stop to that. Right?
Yep.
If you remember this, let me tell you a little bit further back. The most devastating Russian to ever come over to me was Vasily Zhurov. He was killing everybody at cruiserweight, but he fought a little chubby black guy who could box. Did he knock him out? Did he knock him out?
Yeah, he knocked him down. He knocked him down.
But he beat him up the whole fight, right?
Yep, it is.
He didn't move. Listen, man, this is wait. So see, this is what I'm talking about. So see, the adage is, from a boxing point of view, from my point of view, a smaller guy, a good small guy can beat a decent big guy every day of the week. So the decent big guy is going to be slower. The young smaller guy is going to be more athletic. And if I said a good small guy, so that means he's good, right? So that if the big guy is great, it's harder to beat him because he's so much heavier than he is. He uses power, he uses size on him. But Errol Spence is a good puncher, and he's a good boxer. So people act like this dude is not, that it's a one-way street. It's a two-way street, man. He hadn't blocked the punch.
Very true.
I mean, look. So to your question, to your point, that's all I'm saying. I had to name a lot of different situations because people fail to realize. Listen, I think Triple G's a good fighter. I never said he wasn't a good fighter. I never said that. But as I said, he did not look good in that fight. Neither did Kell Brook. But at the same time, he gave him a good competitive fight. He gave himself a 3 or 4, so I can say what I want to say. Because he told the truth. That America on the world, he's a beast. He said he wasn't a beast. He said I was a 3 or 4. He wasn't Roy Jones with a hook. He wasn't James Toney or Bernard Hopkins. He wasn't Joe McCollum. I think what would you call them? Would they be considered beasts? I never even referenced a fighter as beast ever before. Because, I mean, boxers are boxers, man. But, hey, I'm with you guys. What's the next question? I'm sorry, man. I apologize.
No problem at all. No problem.
No problem at all. Because, like I said, I said that I would ask you. The question was given to me, and I said, you know what? I'll ask him to see what his response is. But I got one more question for you, and that's in the Leonard Bondy fight, it just seemed like Errol Spence was determined to make a statement. Was that his mindset going into that fight?
I mean, I don't really think it was so much about that fight. I think it's every fight. I think that he's a true fighter. He's a true competitor. He's a true, he's a true fighter, man. Even if I'm working the mitts and I hit him, he's gonna try to hit me back. I mean, so he's a true fighter. He's a true competitor. He wants to actually be the best. I only say what I've heard him say. So I repeat what I've heard him say. So this is not my words. This is what I heard him say. But when I said about the whole deal with Triple G, that was my word. I said that. Listen, I'm gonna own up. I'm a man of what I'm gonna say. I'm a man of what I said. I said that, and I didn't want to address it because I mean it's like, listen, everybody has a right to their own personal feelings, but he is a competitor. Is what I'm getting back to, and he wants. I mean, I don't think that. When you get close, every fight we always say is a step closer to where you want to be. So that was one more step closer to where he wanted to be, and that's the world champ, and then unified champion. So the determination is always there, man. We work in the gym so hard, it's so hot. And he works, man. He works. I mean, so, hey, I mean, the statement, he wants to make a statement every day. So that's
all right, TK, let me swing it over to you. Let me see do you have any questions you want to ask Derrick James?
I'm just basically, I'm wondering what your take is on a lot of these cats. By the way, I'm 2K to God from the Gods of Boxing Talk, man, and we're actually based out in Dallas, man. My co-host has a lot of friends that have sparred against Errol Spence in the amateurs, man, and they've come back with some crude results to get knocked out or beat the fuck up real bad. So
basically, yeah.
Yeah, I've talked to them a lot about Errol, but anyway, I just want to know your take on the state of the welterweight division. It seems like when Floyd Mayweather was there, you know, a lot of cats wanted to say how good they were or how they were the best or how they're getting ready to take the throne. Then once Mayweather leaves and Errol Spence starts climbing up this ladder, everybody seems to be quiet. Nobody wants to step up to the plate. Nobody wants to give Errol Spence his shot. I mean, we even got Keith Thurman basically saying that what Floyd Mayweather did to him by telling him, hey, you can't fight me because you haven't fought nobody. He's saying that that's okay so that he can pretty much justify what he's saying about Errol Spence now. I mean, what do you think about all that, man?
You know, I think that I think it's interesting. I think that, you know, going back to like when Errol and I first started training, and I never thought about the pro thing. I thought about the amateur thing. I wanted him to be the best in the amateurs, and I worked with him, you know, constantly over and over. And then we turned pro, and then you never, you know, like you never really even think about all the stuff, the whole Floyd thing. That it kind of blew it up. Floyd, you know, he's a team member. You know what I'm saying? He loves to watch Errol fight. He sparred with him, so he knows what this guy can do, right? But to be here now and to have it like this is just, I mean, I don't know if it's like I'm kind of, I don't know what to say about it. You know what I mean? Like I mean, Dusty, he sparred with Keith Thurman. He sparred with Sean Porter, sparred with Marquez, sparred with Adrian Broner, sparred with Jorge Linares, sparred with Floyd Mayweather. So he sparred these guys. He's been in the ring with these guys. Yep. So the thing about it is they know, but at the same time they know that he's 20 times better now than he was then.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that and he's physically stronger. I mean, like, the thing about it is he punches with his whole body. So boxing is about physics. People say that it is the sweet science, and it is about science, and it is about physics. And so that's where the power comes from, the fact that where he puts his whole body behind the shots. But I think that, I mean, you look at these guys, man, I mean, everybody's going to do what they want to do. I mean, you just got to, it's like, almost like Mike Tyson back in the day. Mm-hmm. You know, nobody wanted to listen, nobody wanted to fight. Listen, because people are asking to fight Triple G. All right, Andre Ward, I know for a fact they wanted to fight him. So, Law, I've been here and been calling him out. Not. This is before this last little wave. So, you know, I hadn't heard many people call out Errol's name, and that's okay. I mean, it is what it is. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to call it. I mean, you know, so I don't know, man.
All right. Yeah. Let me swing it over to Big Cool. Or did you have anything you wanted to follow up with, TK?
Nah, man, you good. Go ahead.
All right, Big Cool. You got anything you'd like to ask? All right, I guess he's not. Big Cool, you there? All right, Bernard, you there? Yeah, I'm here. You got anything you'd like to ask?
Yeah, hello, Derrick James. I'm Bernard, half of talking, Truth and Facts about boxing. The question I have for you is, who is Jermell Charlo fighting next, and how are y'all preparing?
For one, I don't know who's fighting next. I mean, supposed to. I mean, I don't even want to repeat a rumor or something that I haven't been confirmed with. So, I mean, it's supposed to be, you know, somebody, but I'm for sure. So we're just working and getting ready. I mean, you know, so that when it becomes fight time, you know, we're just all about working on strategy and strategizing the game plan. Not about losing weight. You don't train to lose weight. You're supposed to do that sometime before, so just train to strategize to get better.
Yeah, I know Charles Hatley had jumped in the ring during his brother's defense, and I guess that's supposed to be his mandatory for Jermell. He's also based out of Dallas, I believe. Do you have any familiarity with him, or have you seen him fight?
I've known him since he was like a little bitty kid and he just started boxing. I've known his brother and his cousin, his uncle and his cousin, we were all in kindergarten, first, second, third, fourth. So, I went to his grandmother and grandfather's funeral. They went to my mother's funeral. So we know each other, you know what I mean? I used to work out in that gym, and, his dad worked in the corner a couple times. And then, so I know him. I've been at most all of his fights. So I'm very familiar with him.
Hey, Quan.
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to ask him one little thing real quick, man. So, being based out in Dallas, man, I hear a lot of people, from South Dallas over in, Pleasant Grove and Oak Cliff, man. They talk a lot about Charles Hatley because that's where they say Charles Hatley's from, Oak Cliff. So, here in Dallas, man, he's got a pretty big following. Errol Spence, he has a following, but as far as being out and talking to the people, it seems like to me they kind of hold Charles Hatley a little bit above Errol Spence. And being that Charles Hatley is actually at 154 and he's actually a ranked contender and he's actually been being talked about as fighting Jermell Charlo possibly in the future, do you ever see Charles Hatley and Errol Spence getting in the ring together?
Well, for one, that's laughable that he's more known in Oak Cliff than he is in, because Dallas is a big city.
Yep. Yeah,
it's about the crossover.
Yep.
So you're saying he's a hood superstar, and this guy had the most watched boxing match in boxing history.
Yep.
He fought on television 21 times.
Yep.
His last 5 fights, he fought all top contenders, like all top 15 contenders.
Yep.
And so what you said, somebody who fought on TV 2 times, is more popular than a guy who fought on television 21 times.
We're talking about the casuals. A lot of the casuals that are.
Wait. Listen. So listen what you said. So what you said is the casual. So the casual. I'm just trying to get understanding. So the casual fan. So who's? Have you ever been to one of the fights before?
Absolutely.
And how many people had the fights? About 200, 150? How many have paid? So that's the question. So say you got 200 people at the fights, about 200. That's all I'm saying. So 200 people can talk, but at the same time, listen, he won't. I think that his focus is Jermell Charlo. His focus is not. It should not be Errol Spence.
Yeah.
I mean, he shouldn't even say something that starts with the E.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because listen, because I saw a video of something about happening today or whatever, but he wouldn't say his name today. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Listen, because hey, that's all I gotta say. I like Charles Hatley. I know them from forever, man. But I think that what the reality of it is, see, the difference between Errol is what you have to understand is when somebody has it, they don't have to act like they have it.
Right.
Right? See, the rich man never wears all these super lame brand ass clothes because he has it, and he's gonna have an expensive ass watch on. He can wear some chinos. Some little, but everybody else has to try to be the rich guy. Well, the rich guy's already there. He has it. So what I'm basically saying, Errol there's never been a fighter in Dallas from Dallas like Errol Spence ever, other than Curtis Coates was the world champ. But everywhere we go, people attack him. People remember New York, L.A. Listen, Vegas. So people So the thing about, there's never been a superstar from Dallas ever before in boxing.
Yep.
You know, and so he's a quiet guy. He's easygoing. He's a nice guy with a great disposition. When you know who you are, you don't have to act a certain way.
I agree.
So when you know who you are, I mean, you know what you have. It's like this. I mean, he has humility. Point blank, he has humility. I mean, so because he's not out talking about, listen, EJ has a belt, but you wouldn't know it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You know, he has that IBF international title, but you wouldn't know it. You know why? Because he wants to be the world champ.
Yes, sir.
And then the unified champ. But like this, when he defended his title, he forgot the belt at home. He had to go back to the house to get the belt. So that's what, man, he wants to be the world champ, then the unified champ.
Yeah.
Not a junior belt, not a junior titleist. Nothing is wrong with that. There's steps to that. There's a reason why they have those sort of guys from catapult up to the next level. Well, what I'm saying is, you know, being famous is not what it's all cracked up to be.
Right.
And I mean, he accepts it, he embraces it, but you know, at the same time, it's like, hey, man, you know, it's what it is, man. So you know, if he's not popular, if Charles Hadley's more popular than him in Oak Cliff, but I've been to his fight before. I went to L. Did you go to L fight at the Dunya when he fought during the Thanksgiving?
No, I didn't make the.
Well, it sold out.
Oh yeah. I'm not denying it at all. All I'm saying is, every time I talk to somebody who's a local about boxing, they want to bring up Charles Hadley. I believe Errol Spence is much popular than Charles Hadley, and he's a way better fighter. And if they ever fought, Errol Spence will knock him out within 5 rounds. But
that's a long time, man. That's a long time, 5 rounds. That's a long time.
I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. I say within 5, within 5. But there's a lot of casuals out there that are local in Dallas, man. They always want to bring up Charles Hadley whenever I talk about Errol Spence.
They should. You know what? They should, because put like this, man. Everybody wants to shine and get some light, and they have the right to get it if they. I feel like this: when you want to be recognized, you fight fighters. You fight people.
Yeah.
You fight people. I mean, Errol has never turned down one opponent. I mean, he fought this guy to fight that guy. Do you remember Kell Brook was saying how he didn't want to fight me? And so why would he be fighting in a title eliminator to fight who? You. Mm-hmm. So, so I mean, I just think that, it's good that Charles Hadley is very popular in Oak Cliff, you know what I mean, and in Pleasant Grove. I mean, I like that. You know, like this one day, this was funny. So my brother always teases EJ. He'll try to talk trash, kind of go back and forth. And he said something about somebody was the most popular fighter in Dallas. You know what Errol said? They can have Dallas. I want to be the most popular fighter in the world.
Hell yeah.
Was his immediate answer. So, Oak Cliff is good. I like that. But hey.
All right, we got a couple of callers on the line, a couple of guests that probably want to ask you some questions there. So I'm gonna turn it over to one of our callers. Central Florida, you there? What do you got to ask Mr. James? Central Florida, you there? All right, let's try the next one. We got a caller from Illinois. What's your question for Mr. James?
Hello.
Hello, how's it going?
Hey, how's it going there? Mr. James, okay, I recently heard a rumor that a sparring session happened between Jermell and Errol and Jermell
Nope, never happened.
It never happened?
Never
okay.
Happened. They've seen each other spar other people, but they never sparred each other, no.
Okay.
But what's the rumor? I want to hear it anyway. I'm sorry.
Okay. The rumor that I was told is that Jermell was actually having his way with Errol and sparring.
All right, man. People make up all kinds. Listen, they've never ever sparred. Never sparred. Never sparred.
All right, thank you for calling in.
Errol's like at last, like Chris Algiers left-handed. Chris Algiers right-handed. The last guy switches. The guy for like 2 or 3 fights before those guys were left-handed. So no, man, they never sparred.
Okay. Thanks for clearing that up, Derrick. Thank you for calling in as well from Illinois. Let me swing it over to Big Cool. I know you probably got something you'd like to ask. Go ahead and get that in.
Oh, no, man. You go ahead and take it out, bro.
All right. Pretty much, my question is, like, it was pretty interesting to see which Charlo brother ended up in your gym. I always figured it would probably be Jermell, considering his style before coming in. Had your work with Jermell been to make him more aggressive or, to make him more of a pressure fighter? What are the things you have tried to help him with since he came to camp?
I don't think that it was so much about making him more aggressive. I think it's so much about making him so much. When you have defense, all that moving is cool. But when you have defense, why do you have to move? Even when he was fighting John Jackson was throwing. But if you don't watch the fight, Jermell was blocking those punches. The only thing he was doing was not cutting the ring off. As I was stating, and people could hear me in the corner say that. But so what happens is this is that he's always been a very confident fighter, but now he has defense, so he can just go after you, and he knows the defense is gonna come in, he's gonna block a shot, counter punch a shot, or do whatever. So what I teach, their offense is like our advantage because they're throwing punches back. So we want him to throw punches back. So he's always been a good fighter. And the funny thing about the story is this: we fought on many cards together, Errol and Jermell and Jamal, and I never kind of used to talk to him. I never talk to a lot of people. I just go to work, so I'm working. I never get close with people because if you're within 10 pounds, we're probably gonna be fighting sometime soon. So, but we were at the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight, and he was like, "Man, I want to hang out with y'all." So Errol, myself, and Jermell, and then Sean Porter, and Daniel Jacob, we were all kind of in the same area. And we're sitting down, and then Jermell says to me, "If I ever leave money, I'm going to come to you." I said, "What? Man, what are you talking about?" He said, "If I ever leave money, I'm going to come here." I said, "Man, no, I don't want to get involved in that." So later, we sat together at the fight, at the Pacquiao Mayweather fight, and after that, man, 2 months later, they called, and it was like he came down and we worked out one day. That was it. That was kind of it. So, it was kind of funny, man. But I like Jamal and I like Jermell. I like both of them. They treat Jermell like he's the baby brother. He's a minute younger. He's like the baby brother, So it's kind of crazy, yeah.
All right, and I got one more question for you, Derrick. Considering this past weekend with Kell Brook saying he's most likely going to go to 154, as everybody was expecting anyway, how do you feel about the people that actually ducked Errol in the IBF mandatory eliminator getting a chance to fight for the title now, considering they ducked him before?
Well, I feel like they don't deserve a shot. I feel like that. Think about it. If you give them an opportunity to fight for the world title, to fight for the mandatory, then you forego that. Then you forego any fights with them afterwards. Because it means more to be the world champ and fight for the world title opposed to trying to fight for the world title. So I don't think they should get a shot. But I don't run that. I'm not in that. I'm just a trainer. I focus on what I do, and I focus on trying to be better. And continue to be better and trying to get better, so my guys can be better. That's all. I don't manage and all the other stuff. No, I don't care to get into that because that takes away from who I am and what I do. You see that the team works, the trifecta works. Al Heyman, Errol Spence, Derrick James, we all work together. We work because you see where he's come from, and where he's and how he looks. And it's about being consistent. And he's been able to be consistent. And those people who duck, I mean, well, I don't even want to say that. They just said no, they don't want to fight him. So they were honest. I mean, so they were honest.
They ducking, Derek. They ducking.
They ducking. Wait a minute. I'm glad he said that because and I know, Twan, there was a lot of people that was upset with Earl fighting Bundu, and we was telling them there were several fighters that turned down the fight to fight him. Is that right, Mr. James?
But listen though, check it out. So for one, Bundu was very credible, very tangible. So he cleared out. See, this is the thing about it. Whatever. He's 41 years old. We got that. 41-year-old Bernard Hopkins will kill you. Listen, Klitschko's like 40-something now. He's winning. Antonio Tarver knocked out Roy Jones when he's about 40. Think about it. Roy Jones still can beat a lot of people. So this 41-year-old guy did not have a lot of wear and tear on him. And not to mention he's very tough and very rugged. I watched his fight that morning, Sunday morning. I was like, man, this guy's tough as hell. I was like, man, this fight's going to go 12 rounds. I'm thinking, like, this guy's tough. So I know it's not, because the name game is whatever it is. I saw how, see, if you think about this, and this is something that I had to take under consideration. When he fought Keith Thurman dropped him, right? But he basically ran the whole fight after that. He wasn't boxing. He was, like, trying to get away. So I'm thinking about this. If you fight a fighter that you knock down and you move from him the whole fight, there's something about that guy that we don't know about, right? Because it's not old. Bundu's old, 41 years old. Listen, he was 40 years old when he fought Keith. But the question is, there's something about that guy that we don't know about that Keith Thurman knew that day, at that point, because he knocked him down. And he moved from every point from that point. He would never stay still in front of the guy. And then you saw his face and his eye and his head. If you did, you can go back and look at a video. Somebody did a video, his eye all back, got glasses on, forehead got bruises all on it. So my question is, there was something about the guy that you have to look deeper into his age and his listen, because I saw him fight. Because we were supposed to fight him like a year, but we were supposed to fight him like sometime last year. But the fight fell through. I guess he was like, man, forget it. If I don't have to fight this guy, I'm not going to fight this guy. But he was the man that said, listen, I'm going to fight him because I'm not even going to get this chance again. Think about it. And what basically what he did was he stepped up and took the challenge. And it looked like he came out there to fight, man. So.
Yeah, he definitely did bring the fight. He was really competitive. For as long as it lasted. I got probably two more questions before we let you go. I know you probably got some things to do. I guess what would you like to see, or what do you think, or what do you miss? What is this era missing in boxing? Like, what is it missing that that was there from yesteryears, from yesteryears and days of the past? What do you miss that needs to be in this current era?
I'm gonna quote Curtis Coates, who was a former world champion, a Hall of Famer, and we were sitting at a dinner one day, some kind of dinner in this little country town, and they said, "What is different from boxing yesterday and today?" And his answer was, there are no teachers in the sport. So I think that with America, if you look at the British boxing, is so big now. And the fighters are like, they have more champions than we do because most of those fighters, most of those trainers over there were fighters. And they fought for the country internationally, and they fought as professionals. And what they did was, if you look at the boxing and styles and slickness, they took that 1990, 85 to 90 area. I don't even say 1980 to 2000 or 1996. 1980 to 1996. They took that slickness, that sharpness, that counterpunching. They took what we thought was trash. And now you look at, what's the little kid that fought Santa Cruz? Man, he looked so good. His head movement was so great. Carl Frampton.
Yeah.
Man. They went to school. And so while we were mimicking Floyd, they were in school. And so what you see now is guys who are schooled and doing this and doing that. So I think that we have to go back to having more teachers, I think. And, I think that'll make American boxing better. And, I think that, the business of not fighting fighters, it's business because you look at it like this, to be honest, with Triple G and Canelo, we've seen the numbers with pay-per-view numbers when Triple G fought. We've seen the pay-per-view numbers when Canelo fought. Triple G needs Canelo. Canelo does not need Triple G. He does not need Triple G. He could fight Liam Smith, sell out 40,000 seats. So
yeah.
It's not like so. I think that he's not there yet. We're high on Canelo. Not Canelo, but Triple G. We're happy about him because he's a beast. 5 years previous. 5 years. What's the guy? Arthur Abraham would have got it. Arthur Abraham will punch too now.
Yeah.
But when he fought a boxer, right? Anthony Durrell, or what's that kid name? The kid name out of Oakland, California. Say his name.
Andre Ward.
There we go. All right. What? Nobody won't say that. He offered to fight. Listen, it's okay for Ward to go up, but it's not okay for him to go up. I'm just saying.
True.
It's play. If you're gonna call it. Like I said, I think Triple G is a decent fighter. He's a good fighter. I believe that. But at the same time, I think that we have to grade these guys not like it's like the greatest thing since sliced bread. Come on, man. We can name different eras, but there's 5 or 6 times. Listen, and like with the Roy Jones era, I didn't say Thomas Tate or John McDees, all these guys who were not champions, but you had to beat those guys to get to those guys. Think about it. So see, it was levels to that, and it was not an A class or B class. It was an A minus, an A plus, because that guy was just a little bit under that guy. Didn't know what day of the week it was. So, hey man, we just need more teachers. And we need the people to grade, because we can't grade a guy off of the guy before, but we have to truthfully acknowledge what we're looking at. And look, everybody says Errol gets hit too much. Well, when you fight Bundle who's rolling with punches, it may look like because he's not backing back or he's not, he's rolling with shots, blocking shots, and so hey, it's okay, man. Let's bring a better punch in there. Like Keith or somebody like that, and we'll see how he gets hit. So that's the question. Because you see, people forget it's a two-way street. Two-way street. Everybody's punching. What's the second question? I'm sorry.
All right, and basically, this is what I wanted to end off with. You got one champ in Jermell already. We pretty much know what we see with Spence. I consider him to be the biggest thing at 147 when it's all said and done. Yep. You got anybody else in camp that that you see potential championship future for?
Well, I only train 3 guys, so I train 3 guys. I have Errol Spence, Jermell Charlo, Errol Spence, and Robert Brandt. So if you read something, Robert Brandt could be fighting for a world title next month, possibly if the fighter, they negotiated some blah, 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 blah with one of those guys over in England. He's a middleweight. He's ranked number 4 in the WBA because he could be fighting Triple G soon, or he could fight this guy.
Billy Joe Saunders, right?
Billy Joe Saunders, yeah. So, It's like, so I have 3 guys, and all 3 of those guys are in the top, 3 or 4 in the world or whatever. So, I don't need 29 fighters. Because I just want, 3 good guys.
Yeah.
So the guys are very schooled, very polished, You know, I don't need. Because the thing about it is, I mean, you know, it's watered down. If I can't get to everybody, I'm one guy. People don't come to Dallas to train with Derrick James' assistant. They come and train with me. So it's like I have to be there for them, man. So I have to be committed to them. Just as they committed themselves to me. So Robert Brandt is another guy. He's 21-0. Like I don't know how many knockouts, but 15 knockouts or so, like something like that. You know, so I'm not for sure, but yeah, he's from Minnesota, which I like to say Minnesota because you know people don't believe good boxers come out of Minnesota, so I like to say he's from Minnesota.
Okay. All right. With that, I just want to thank you for your time and taking the time to come out and come on our podcast, man. It's much appreciated.
Hey, you're very welcome. And for the brother who asked me the first question about Triple G and being whatever, I hope I gave y'all some clarity to that because I want to make sure that I'm not bashing the guy. I'm only stating what he said.
Absolutely.
The American public don't want to admit that the man said I was a 3 or a 4. That's 2 from 1. That's 2 spots, a 1 out of a 10. So he basically said I was horrible. But nobody would say he was horrible. 3 is horrible. When you are the second coming of the greatest and Marvin Hagler and blah, 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 think about that. 3 is horrible. So that's what he said. So if I say something about a smaller guy knocking him out who can punch, who's faster than him, I mean, I said it, but I'm done with it. I'm glad we addressed it so I could talk about it. And I'm
definitely thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah, I got a lot of backlash. Got a lot of backlash for that, like I'm crazy or something. But boxing is a 2-way street, man. People didn't think Buster Douglas was going to be Michael Tyson. Think about it. Buster Douglas beat Mike Tyson?
It was that Jackson.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, I appreciate you guys, man. Thanks for having me on. And I was kind of like I'm touching all these different spots, but hey, I appreciate that, brother.
All right, thanks for coming on, man, and look forward to seeing you again, man. I seen you in Vegas a couple months ago, so it's always.
That's right. Yeah. I saw you. You my man, because it was at me, you, and Julian Williams, right?
Yeah.
That's right. Okay, yeah. That's
you
right.
You broke down the 2-second tape of the Algieri fight. You know, that's pretty much how I got the hands down, man's down. I understood it as soon as you broke down those 2 seconds.
But did you go back and look at it?
Yeah. I've gone back and watched that fight a couple of times, and I definitely see what you're saying.
Those last 3 punches, right? The last 3 or 4 punches that he threw, and that shows the level of intellect and intelligence. So it's not so much about him being a puncher, that he's very cognizant of what's going on. So, I mean, that's what people won't see. They'll see all the other stuff, the flashy stuff. But my job is to see him dropping his hands or doing something wrong. I'm looking for what he's doing wrong. That's what I'm supposed to do. I don't applaud him. Even after when he fought Bundy, man, I was on him. I said something to him in the ear. I won't say what I said to him, but I said something to him. I said, you did good, you won, but this. So everybody, that was great. Look, but yeah, it was good. But I have to see what he did that I didn't like. So even that fight, I said something to him in his ear when we were in the ring, and he knew what was going on. But hey, it's good. Appreciate you guys, and thanks for having me, man.
All right, you have a good night, Derek.
Oh yeah.
All right, fellas, we're going to swing back into some of our other topics. We still got one more fight to cover from last weekend, which was probably the most exciting of all of them, most entertaining. We have Roman Chocalitito Gonzalez, who moved up in weight to take on Carlos Cuadras for the WBC Super Flyweight title. Chocalitito was successful in honoring his pledge to his late mentor, Alexis Arguello, capturing his 4th world title in a different weight class by unanimous decision victory. I'm sure there'll be some controversy with this topic. We're going to get through all that. But with that said, 2K, the Supreme Being, breakdown analyst. What did you take from this fight, man? What did you see?
Yeah, this is a very controversial fight. I'm gonna try to keep it short, man, since we're kind of getting pressed for time here. But I think let me just start off and say that I feel personally that this fight could have gone either way. There's a lot of people out there that felt Cuadras won. There's a lot of people that felt that Roman Gonzalez won. There's very few people out there that feel like Roman Gonzalez won 9 rounds to 3, like Kathy Leonard, the third judge, turned in that scorecard. Another thing that people get confused is Cuadras' style. A lot of people out there, whether they want to act like it or not, they don't know how Cuadras really fights. Okay, I see a lot of people saying, well, Roman Gonzalez kept him on his back foot. Cuadras should have brought the fight more to him. He's a bigger guy. Listen, that's not Cuadras' style. Cuadras, against everyone, the other 35 guys that he's fought, he was on his back foot. That's what he prefers to do. He uses the entire ring, much like Errol Laura does. He'll plant, throw some combinations, then he's back on his bicycle. That's how he fights, okay? The fact that Roman Gonzalez was a smaller guy, that's not going to change his style. He's not going to do anything different. That's what he's known to do, and he's known to do that against 35 other opponents, okay? So, in my opinion, I don't think Roman Gonzalez was the cause of him being on his back foot because that's his style. Although, however, I do believe Roman Gonzalez did execute his game plan better than Cuadras did. And that's why I can see a 7-5 scorecard for Roman Gonzalez in this fight, just as much as I could see a draw in this fight. I saw that Roman tried to do the Sugar Ray Leonard method. Carlos Cuadras would take control at the beginning of the rounds. He would take maybe the first minute and a half or minute and 3/4 of a round, and then that's when Roman Gonzalez would try to turn it up to still the last minute and a half, minute and quarter of the round. Me personally, I'm not a big fan of that. I feel that a fighter should fight for 3 minutes. But I mean, that's pretty much what he was doing late in the fight. In the beginning of the fight, Roman Gonzalez had control. But at the later half of the fight, that's when he started doing that Sugar Ray Leonard method, and I felt that lost him at least on my scorecard 5 rounds. But nevertheless, however you saw it, one thing that we cannot deny is that Carlos Cuadras does deserve a rematch. I think he deserves a rematch. He's been dominant at 115 for a long time. He was the champion. The guy came up, took his belt. I feel like he deserves a rematch.
All right, let me kick this over to Big Cool. What were your thoughts about the fight?
It was definitely an extremely close fight. I scored a 7-5 for Cuadras, but I can understand it going towards Chocalitito, not by a unanimous decision. He did apply a lot of pressure early. He did do a lot of very good body work early in the fight. And I guess one could, presume that Cuadras' style of moving and boxing could be viewed as running as Harold Letterman, who I strongly disagree with throughout that whole fight, was saying. But I guess pretty much EJ summed it up. It was a close fight. Could have went either way. Definitely need to be a sequel to it. Both guys put on a terrific, fight. Second best fight of the weekend behind Easter and Commey. And, Cuadras is definitely, you can still say he's the best guy at 115, although he took a loss. Props to both guys. And hopefully it's a rematch if there's no Hoya versus Gonzalez in the future.
Right. Bernard, you had an interesting take on the scorecard, so I'm going to let you break down your analysis, man. Give it to us, man.
Okay. I scored it 116-112 Cuadras. Like I told y'all, it was a couple swing rounds in this fight. I'm going to go with the second round where Cuadras incorporated counterpunching involved in the second round. The third round was a swing round, which I gave to Gonzalez. The fourth round, Cuadras was good in the pocket. He did get hurt, but he ended up coming back from that. So he got the 4th round, he got the 5th round, he got the 6th round. Gonzalez took the 7th round with clean punching and effective aggression, as well in the 8th. The 9th round was a swing round to me. I gave that to Cuadras. 10th, Cuadras was effective in the pocket, which I started to notice that when he got into the pocket, he get, like 2K said, he hit his combinations, and they were hitting, and he would get out. He did that a couple of times. And then in the 11th, I noticed Cuadras' movement was frustrating Gonzalez. So I gave him that round, and I also gave him the 12th round.
All right, and let me swing it over to Bo. Let me swing a different perspective on the fight. With Chocalitito winning the title and all, what do you think should be next for him in terms of his next viable opponents?
First off, I think Chocalitito should take a rest. His style, and I said this before, his style, that pressure type style he has, it consumes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of mental capacity for that style, especially when you employ that style in such a tough fight that he did. And it has a very low shelf life. It reminds me like of Mike Tyson's style. He has that same pressure style. And around about 29, 30 is when we start seeing Mike Tyson start to decline, because that style has a very short shelf life. So he needs, after that fight, after that kind of, the toughness of that fight, he himself admitted it was the hardest fight of his life, and everybody saw his face after the fight. So he needs to take a rest for the remainder of the year. And as far as him having another fight, I'm in favor of everybody else. I think once he takes the required rest that he needs and he comes back, he should fight Cuadras. Cuadras has earned the rematch. He deserved the rematch, and he was the champion. So he definitely should fight Cuadras, only because to put the rest, because like you said, there are some people who feel Cuadras run, and so to put that to rest, fight your man again, and give us another exciting fight, and let's see what happens.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree. That's the most punishment he's taken in a fight. You can see it all over him. He definitely needs a break, and I'm not too sure he needs to go after Cuadras or Inoue exactly next. He may need to take an easy one at 115. That kind of fight right there just takes a lot of starch out of you, and you can see it on him, like even in the later rounds, like he was really hurt. Cuadras had him hurt in the 11th, probably could have took him out, maybe 15, 20 more seconds, but, he definitely was hurt in that round, and, you can see the weight adjustment, like it really affected him. He doesn't have the same pop coming up. So definitely needs to make some adjustments to style over this time. And like Bo said, just get some rest. That fight had to take a lot out of you. With that said, we'll go ahead and go to our next topic. Good old Uncle Bob Arum, made a statement during the interview last week during the Manny Pacquiao-Jesse Vargas kickoff press conference in L.A. He mentioned that Vasyl Lomachenko will be facing Jezreel Corrales in the super featherweight title unification bout. We're expecting a formal announcement this week to come from him. Vasyl, he currently holds the WBO belt that he won from Rocky Martinez. And Corrales is currently the WBA super champ after upsetting longtime champion Takashi Uchiyama earlier this year. Panel, what are your prospects? What do you think about the prospects of this fight happening? Let me go ahead and start off with Big Cool.
It's a good fight. I haven't seen too much of Corrales, but I have seen plenty of Lomachenko, and I think that this is a good step in the right direction for Lomachenko, trying to unify the division and become that guy at 130. And hopefully it's made, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to speak on something ignorantly that I don't know. Like I said, I haven't seen too much of Corrales, but I would favor, just off of, Lomachenko's pedigree and what he's shown so far as a pro, I favor him, but I'm assuming Corrales is definitely a quality fighter that could definitely win this fight, so I can give a more in detail opinion once I study Corrales. But, hey, unification belt, sign me up.
All right, let me swing it over to 2K. What's your thoughts about the prospects of this fight occurring?
I think it's a good fight. I think a lot of people are overly excited for Jezreel Corrales. I think the Takashi Uchiyama TKO was what my man Dwyer likes to say. The KO gives people amnesia. And what I mean by that is there was a lot of mistakes that Jezreel Corrales made in that fight, but him knocking out Uchiyama the way he did, a lot of cats were like, oh, this dude is nice. They either didn't understand what they saw or they just completely threw out the window what they saw. Corrales, he has sneaky power. He's very slick. He has a nice straight left, but he has a beautiful right hook. He sets up all of his combinations with the jab. He's an excellent counterpuncher that employs the shoulder roll. And he can fight on his back foot. I've seen one exchange where he was backing up, dude was coming forward, he landed a left and a right hook, and that right hook knocked the damn sweat off my dude's head. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, he's a good fighter, but he's just too wild, man. And that's what I saw against Uchiyama. The second knockdown, my man was coming forward, and he had his left arm extended completely out while he's moving forward. You do that shit against Lomachenko, he's going to sidestep you, and he's going to hit you with about a 6, 7, 8 punch flurry, and you can't even see the shit. And then on top of that, while he's trying to knock Uchiyama out, he's swinging with, like, hooks that are coming from the, like, behind him and shit. I mean, his swings are that wide. I'm like, man, that type of shit right there, he cannot do that against Lomachenko. He's got to be smart throughout the entire 12 rounds. And he also waits. I think a waiting fighter, unless you're Floyd Mayweather, unless you have the Floyd Mayweather abilities, a waiting fighter will play in Lomachenko's hands because he's going to keep pressing, but then he's also going to give you angles at the same time. Well, if you don't throw any punches, then he's just going to tee off on you, and it's going to end up being a situation like Gary Russell Jr. It's going to be too much volume. He's not going to be able to handle it. So, I mean, it's a decent fight, but I think Jezreel Corrales is not the guy to beat Lomachenko at this weight.
All right, and let me go ahead and follow up with that one then. You pretty much let it be known you don't think that's the best bout for him right now. Who would you rather see him against in the 130 division?
Nicholas Walters. I could say that shit without even blinking. Nicholas Walters, all day, every day.
Yeah, I just don't see. I don't have too much interest in seeing Lomachenko against Francisco Vargas either. I think that's an easy fight. Like, he'll easily win that one. I actually think his mandatory Miguel Burchett might be a bit better fight than even Corrales. Of course, Nicholas Walters, my man, missing in action, Yardie boy. Man, we need you back. We need you back, man. Bo, what about you? Let me get your opinion on this.
About what I think about the fight?
Yeah. Or even who would you rather see him against? If this, Corrales is probably the guy, but who would you rather see him against if he's going to unify a title?
Oh, bro, outside of Nicholas Walters, I would have liked to have seen them try to make the fight with Orlando Salido. There's a theme going on with, and I hate to say this with Lomo and these people, where I'm not going to say they're not trying to make fights, but it just seemed like they're having difficulties making the fights that will probably be more likable for us to see. Like, I would have liked to have seen him fight Orlando Salido and get his get back. I definitely would have liked to see him get that. Get your get back. The guy beat you, get his ass back. Get your get back. But for some reason, they had this take it or leave it mentality, and hey, fight didn't happen.
That thing is Bob Arum. Why are we gonna sit here and bullshit? We all know how Bob Arum is. I think he sees Lomachenko as a potential cash cow, so he's gonna protect him. That's just my personal opinion on it. I'm gonna call out the fuckery. So it's Bob Arum. Let's just say it.
Probably.
And I definitely could agree with you. I think there's, I'm not taking away from Loma's talents and his skill as a fighter, but I just definitely think there's been some selectful, matchmaking done, as of recently, since Gary Russell. He knew he was going to whitewash Martinez, like these are things that were pretty much given. So I definitely would prefer him to fight somebody else or somebody that would really present a challenge to him. Corrales is probably too inexperienced and wild, and, he's just undisciplined, like 2K said. He even struggled making weight against Uchiyama, so that would probably be a factor coming into their fight, once it's actually made official. We'll go ahead and swing it over to our next topic, which is probably pretty controversial right now. We got some things brewing with the New York State Athletic Commission to where their insurance requirements have gone up. They actually legalized MMA, which calls for a new bill to be introduced for higher insurance rates for all combat sports, including boxing. So it was originally $10,000 to $50,000 for $10,000 for general medical coverage for each fighter on the card. They increased it to $50,000. On top of that, there's also a new portion of the bill to where they need to have $1 million minimum requirement for each fighter in the event they have a traumatic brain injury. So it sparked some controversy amongst the promoters in New York, including Lou DiBella. Even, a lot of the big promoters out there even have a problem with this. But Nard, let me get your take on this one, man. Break it down. I know you've been doing some extra research on this one.
Like you just said, it's $1 million insurance that deals with life-threatening brain injuries where identical cause between the fighters participating in a fight and life-threatening brain injury. That's where the $1 million coverage is coming in. But if anybody was to look at this article that is on Ring TV, if you notice, the MMA promotions are able to pay the policy because they're only, it's a big promotion. Like UFC is a $1 billion company. Bellator is backed up by Viacom, so they're able to pay for it. Whereas boxing, there are multiple promoters from the big ones to the small ones, and I could say this is very political driven, and I'm not talking about on the business side of politics, more on New York politics. Because when I put in my notes, I wrote people that hold positions in NYSAC don't have a clue about boxing. People who get these positions are based on New York politics. That's what I was reading through the article. Currently, the several boxing insiders spoke highly of a recently appointed interim chairperson, I want to say Massey, for her acknowledging that she knows nothing about the sports side or the business side of boxing. But hopefully, because she's I want to say an attorney or whatever, and she's a good businesswoman, they're hoping that she would bring integrity to it. Also, it's a lot. I would say. I would tell you, like you say, read it up for yourself. And the statute that also a couple of notes is there was one thing I would think that was beneficial that I did look at it from this change as well. The statute that legalized the pro MMA competition also in New York also extended the NYSAC from 3 to 5 commissions. So it's a broader for when votes are made and everything like that. And that's what I pretty much took from it. I know this is really more political driven based on the New York politics, because also the people that are changing positions that are coming in are either being demoted or are resigning also in positions as well. Those that are doing when you're checking the fighters, the proper hand wraps and everything like that. Okay. Some of them people don't. I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
No, some of the people that don't, they don't have a clue what they're doing. It's a lot of, how could you say it? I don't know the word right now, but it's basically a lot of intermediate or beginner people dealing with these positions when it comes to this sport. So, or even dealing with how things are done on the sports side as well as the business side, as I'm looking at it on in this article.
Okay. What are some of the negative impacts you see happening from this? Let me go ahead and swing it to your partner in crime, Bo, from Truth and Facts About Boxing. Like, what do you think the impact will be of this controversial bill and what it means for boxing in New York?
Oh, man. Right now, immediately the response that we're getting is long-term impact is what he just touched upon, Bernard, is MMA has the finances. With boxing, you have a lot of independent promoters, so it's going to be extremely hard for the lower guys to promote their fights. And even the guys who can afford it, like Bob Arum is on record as saying that you're probably going to have an athletic commission pretty much sitting on their ass while promoters take their business across the bridge to New Jersey. You know? So right now, from a verbal standpoint, it seems like it could have a huge impact on them getting big fights. I mean, Jacobs and Morta wasn't even in New Jersey, I don't think. I think they moved that fight, right?
Yeah, it was in Pennsylvania, actually.
Right, it was in Pennsylvania, and Jacobs is on record as saying that he would like to have had that rematch fight in his hometown in New York, but couldn't. So it could have an impact looking down the line, because there's also some other things you have to consider. In addition to the $1 million, is a $50,000 coverage for other injuries, and a $7,500 coverage for long-term for long-standing minimum. Okay, so and this is not per event. This is per fighter. Okay, that's one thing we have to keep in mind. This is not per event. This is per fighter. Okay, so if you have an undercard, you got 4 fighters on that card, and it might not be a card that that you can look at and say, okay, it'll make you a lot of money. Then you could be looking at taking some losses or pretty much barely breaking even. So for me, it hurts the smaller business promoter. The bigger ones who can afford it, they just won't do it because at the end of the day, like he said, it is a business, and nobody wants to get in something and barely make peanuts when you can, make a whole lot more.
All right, TK, you got anything you'd like to add on this one, and pretty much how it is detriment on boxing? New York has been kind of a hot spot lately with the Barclays coming around and having some of the best fights in the sport. Let me get your take on it.
Absolutely, and for the record, I'm a little pissed off at you guys because I did my research, and both of y'all took all my damn points. I mean, excellent job,
that's
fellas.
how I felt last week, so I didn't say anything.
Excellent job, fellas. It's really, honestly, man, I'll just be regurgitating a bunch of information that was already said. The only thing that I will say is that I don't believe that a lot of the major cards will take a hit, but it's the smaller cards, the ones that, Lou DiBella and the Guardia, they put up on a weekly basis, I believe it is, or a monthly basis, out there in the New York area. Those are the cards that will take the hit because those are the fighters that are, these are the D and F type fighters. I mean, you got some C class fighters in there, but they're mainly D and F type fighters that are coming up. They're the amount of money that they make on the ticket sales will not supplement the premium on the insurance policy. So, yeah, I mean that's mainly, in my opinion, that will take the biggest hit.
All right. It's definitely one of those controversial bills. I kind of hate to see it, especially with the blossoming of boxing lately out there in the Mecca. Hopefully some things could get done. You got to think these promoters they're putting up this money. They don't get, in the event that these fighters aren't injured or there's no brain injuries, like there's no kind of refund or anything coming back. So that's something to keep in mind. Maybe it could be structured differently. I guess, Bernard, you had something you wanted to throw in?
Actually, I'm going to look at something as a positive on this. With all these people changing and don't have a clue about boxing, why would you want to deal with them in the first place? Including to the people that are watching how the hand wraps are placed on a fighter and everything like that. If that's the case and they don't have a clue, I don't want to deal with it. I wouldn't as a fighter or even as a trainer or even as a boxing promoter. I mean, that's how I feel. I think it's a positive because they point out a lot of stuff on their side as well dealing with this. And if they don't know what they're doing or don't know what they're looking for, they shouldn't be in the first place. So,
yeah. And that's definitely one of the arguments. That's one of the arguments that has been made. That is kind of a money grab by, you know, a lot of the political officials in New York, you know, doing this, you know, but it's actually going to be detrimental to them and the money they bring into the state if they don't do anything about it. I actually talked to somebody earlier about this, and he had brought up something interesting, talking about this is so unprecedented that insurance companies don't even know how to quote for it. So, you know, that's one of the issues going on right now. Like, they don't even know how to quote for these kind of insurance premiums that are required for the fights. So that's going to be something to keep note of as we go forward. And, you know, there's possibly a big match happening in December between Triple G and Daniel Jacobs in New York. You know, they have the date locked down already if it comes to that. So we'll see how that pans out. We'll go ahead and take it on to our next topic. Excuse me. We actually got another good weekend of fights coming up. So we'll go ahead and start tackling these one by one. We got first off our cruiserweight title fight. Probably one of the best fights, you know, for the WBO title. We get to see Oleksandr Usyk. If he's, you know, all he's buzzed to be, he takes on Krzysztof Glowacki this weekend in Poland, I believe. Just picked up coverage in Sky Sports, as we learned earlier. It needs to be picked up in the United States. Cruiserweight is a hot division. So with that said, let me go ahead and take it down to our breakdown, man. 2K, what you got to say on this one? How you see it playing out?
All right, man. Actually, I'm back and forth on this one, man. I initially had picked Usyk to win this fight. Now I'm back in the middle. I'm not exactly sure. So by Friday, I'll have a actual decision on who I'm going to pick. I mean, it's one thing that I do know about this fight is it will be a war. I mean, Oleksandr Usyk, man, he's got a nice overhand left. He uses the jab. He may jab or he may do a double jab. Then he'll dip to the right and throw that overhand left. That actual dip to the right usually confuses the opponent, so it leaves him wide open for the overhand left. He throws that beautifully. He also throws it to the top and he throws it to the body as well. He throws punches in bunches. You never really see him throwing one or two punches at a time, especially when he has an opponent hurt. I mean, he's going 4, 5, 6 punch combinations, and he's actually a great finisher, which is what I just pretty much was talking about. He got an opponent hurt, man. It's almost, I mean, shit, he's 100% on his record. He's 9 wins with not knockouts. So it's pretty much right now, as it stands, it's a 100% chance you're going to get knocked out. His cons, though, man, he stands too upright. He doesn't have much head or upper body movement. If you punch with him, similar to Gennady Golovkin, if you punch with him, it will stifle his offense. As I mentioned earlier, Pedro Rodriguez, the last guy he fought, he flurried him, and Oleksandr Usyk sat there and took all those shots until Rodriguez finished his flurry. Then he actually came back with his own offensive arsenal. So punching with him, you'll do great. And there's a lot that we can say about him, but the level of opposition that he's faced thus far, there's nothing that we can definitively say, hey, he has these attributes and it will transfer over to the B or A level fighters of the division, because he has not yet to fight a B or A level fighter. This will be the first one. So whatever he does in this fight, it'll be the measuring stick as to say, well, yeah, he's good enough to beat the other A level guys at the cruiserweight division. As far as Glowacki, man, he also has a nice overhand left. He knocked Cunningham down once with it. He also has a stiff-ass jab that's it's as hard as his left hand. He knocked Cunningham down with that twice. And he's also an underrated counterpuncher, man. Like, whenever Cunningham, as he said last week, he wasn't following his own advice. He was coming forward too much, showing too much aggression. Glowacki was standing back, and he was trying to counter over Cunningham's jab with his overhand left, and he was looking for that the entire fight. My cons of him, though, he has too wide of a stance. He has absolutely no footwork. My man is completely stiff below the waist. His stance is not like Adrian Broner's, but it is very wide. He could be caught reaching with his shot when he's looking for the counterpunch. And like I said, he lacks foot movement, and also he lacks the basic fundamentals of defense. He doesn't keep his hands up very often. He doesn't have head movement, doesn't have much upper body movement, doesn't have lateral movement. I mean, that's why I think this is going to be a war, because both guys, in my opinion, they lack basic fundamentals of defense. But I'm going to slide with Usyk right now, but it may change by Friday.
All right, let me swing it over to Big Cool. Let me get your prediction on this one. Who you got winning it?
It was a tough fight. Glowacki is very hittable. Can be dropped and hurt, but he has the heart and the determination to overcome the tough moments, as you've seen in this fight with Huck, in his moments and with Cunningham, buzzed him. Watching a little bit of Usyk, he's definitely more athletic than Glowacki. Both of them are southpaw, so it'll be interesting to see how they, deal with it. But they're big guys, both can punch. I'm gonna go with Glowacki. He's more proven, and I know that it might be an unpopular pick, but I think that his battles with Huck and then his fight with Cunningham, gain more experience with a boxer. I just think that he's gonna be able to pull it off. He may get dropped a couple times, but I think it'll be a barn burner, and I think he'll get Usyk out there 6th round. Experience plays a big role in these fights.
I definitely could understand the pick, based on the level of competition. Bo, let me get your prediction on this one.
All right. I don't do the electric slide and all of that dancing around like 2K over there is doing. So I'm going to give you how I feel and who I'm picking and why. No. And Jasper, man, it's not an unpopular pick, man. If you need to break down why you picking somebody, it's not an unpopular pick, man. We can understand that. I spoke to Uncle James earlier, James Bashir, Usyk's trainer, and he said that he spoke with Usyk and he's very calm, he's very confident. And Usyk said, his words was, this ain't going to the judges. So that is cause for concern. Because, like 2K said, if he goes out there over anxious looking, trying to knock him out, we know that his head movement and defense ain't the best, so he can possibly get caught with something. So I can definitely understand why some people would want to go with Glowacki. I can also understand the experience factor with Glowacki and his toughness. But I'm going with Usyk. My pick's Usyk, and I'm going with Usyk. I'm explaining to you why, and I've said this, and I know some people might get it and might not. The man has well over 300, almost close to 400 amateur fights. At that level of that many fights, you're talking about fighting on a global scale. You're talking about being used to being in hostile territory. You're talking about seeing every style and everything you could possibly see. I also like what I saw in him when he had got a guy hurt. He had a man hurt, but he didn't give up his size. He didn't give up his range. He didn't give up his distance. He was very patient and very methodical in his approach. And I like that coming from a young fighter. Well, I'm not going to say young fighter, but a guy with this many fights at that level. And he moves very well for a big man. Like, I haven't seen a big man that moves that well with that kind of fluidness since Lennox Lewis. Okay? So I like the way he moves. I like the fight. He fights very, very big. He fights tall. So, and Glowacki, I'm not going to say Usyk is a better boxer than Huck, but the fact that you can outbox Glowacki only won, he won, I give him props for that, but he won because it was a last-minute ditch effort knockout against Huck. Up until that, he was getting, it was Huck had that fight. So I just think Usyk has the tools, he has the talent, and the fact that Glowacki is easy to hit and is susceptible to a lot of these, a lot of the punches. It just plays in the hands of Usyk, but at the same time, I understand people picking Glowacki because, hey, man, sometimes it's hard not to go with the champion, especially when the champion is tough.
All right. We're going to swing it over to another big fight we got going on this weekend. This one in QK's neck of the woods in Dallas. We got Liam Beefy Smith of the UK coming over to defend his WBO belt, junior middleweight belt against Canelo Alvarez. 2K, give us your breakdown of the fight and who you predicting.
Man, come on, man. This is what I'm going to say, man. Look, Oscar De La Hoya knows exactly what he's doing.
I got to pop my popcorn.
Yeah, Oscar De La Hoya knows exactly what he's doing, man. He knew exactly what he was doing. Okay, Liam Smith, to me, he still has amateuristic qualities, man. I mean, probably the best guy on his record would be the coach, the old coach of the University of Georgetown, Allen Iverson's ex-basketball coach, Mr. John Thompson. That's probably his best fucking guy on his resume. You know what I'm saying? And then he's got a guy named Jimmy Kelly and then Predrag Radacevic. I mean, come on, man. Like, look, he throws a beautiful uppercut on the inside. I'll give him that. All right? Throws a very beautiful uppercut on the inside. He also murdered John Thompson with a straight right hand. You know what I'm saying? We understand that. He's a very nice body puncher. He mixes up his combination. And he also throws a nice left hook to the body. Okay, we understand that. But given Canelo's style, man, Liam Smith has no head movement, no upper body movement, no lateral movement. He stands directly in front of his opponent with a high guard and applies pressure. That means he's going to be coming forward directly in front of Canelo, and given Canelo's style, a lot of things that he learned since the Mayweather fight, he's become a decent, almost excellent counterpuncher. I mean, if you don't understand that, go back and watch the Miguel Cotto fight, okay? He's going to be countering the shit out of Liam Smith, bro. All right? He just fought in June against Predrag Radacevic. So even though it was a knockout in the second round, as Bo had said earlier today, the training camp for a fight is more rigorous than the fight itself, okay? Now, if he just fought in June and then he's going to turn around and fight, 3 months later, and this is going to be the biggest fight of his career, just like with Andy Ruiz fighting Hughie Fury next month, I'm a little worried about his health, his conditioning. You know what I'm saying? And this is against a guy who hits very hard, and he's an excellent body puncher in Canelo. All right? Lastly, he also has scar tissue above the right eye. He was cut back in 2014 against a guy named Zoltan Serra, where he needed stitches. So that's going to be another thing that Canelo's camp is looking at. I mean, they're going to, not only are they going to be countering the shit out of this dude while he's coming forward directly in front of them with little movement, but they're going to be targeting the right eye. Man, come on, man. Look, there's guys that we respect that think Liam Smith is going to give him trouble. I think, Canelo can be outboxed, but I don't think Liam Smith has the boxing ability to outbox Canelo.
Yeah, Liam definitely seems like he likes to be in the wheelhouse or in the phone booth, and that's playing to Canelo's strengths, so it'll definitely be interesting to see how he holds up to the power of Canelo. And that's pretty much going to be the determinant in the fight because I know he's going to give it a good go. That's just the Smiths for you. You know what I'm saying? But
right.
How he holds up over time, that's going to be pretty interesting to see. Canelo can rip off combos from a close distance. And, I noticed Liam, he keeps it 2 to 3 punches, and he relies a lot on that uppercut. So I'm pretty sure that's something Canelo's been preparing for. Bernard, you got a prediction on this fight? Bernard. Okay, I guess he's not with us right now. Let me swing it over to Big Cool. Let me get your prediction on it.
It's going to be a beatdown, man. It's going to be a beatdown. I was watching Smith against John Thompson and Jim Butler, I think that's his name, EJ, and they were hitting him. John Thompson has fast hands. He was hitting him with left hooks, right hand, straight rights, uppercuts. I mean, he was faster than Smith, and then Butler was hitting him with uppercuts, just, taking the fight to him. So Canelo's going to destroy him. I mean, it's not going to be nice, pretty. I'm not even going to watch the fight Saturday. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to watch it for free. I ain't going nowhere. I'm not doing. I mean, I love boxing, but, there's more things to watch Saturday night than Canelo fight a dude that shouldn't be in the ring with him, at least right now. And I'm not knocking Smith because I respect all professional prize fighters. But his style is tailor-made, man. He got that high guard. Like EJ said, he has no upper body movement, no lower body movement. He can't move lateral. He going to get ripped to the body. Canelo going to take it up top. It's either going to look like when he fought Angulo or when he fought
good point.
One way or the other, that ass is getting whooped. You know what I'm saying? And it ain't nothing nobody can do about it but say damn and hope that Smith is all right because Canelo, man, his style is just perfect. He got fast hands. He's going to split that hard guard with the straight roll right here, and he's going to throw the left hooks, the right hooks, the uppercuts. He's going to rip to the body. I mean, he's not worried about this. That's why he picked him.
Easy fight.
You know, just a payday for Smith. Beefy going to get cooked up this weekend, and it's not going to be anything nobody chased up. You know,
I think
prayers to Smith because he's going to need them.
Yep.
I hate fights like this.
I think we all could agree that Canelo's going to take this one. I think we're more interested in what happens with the aftermath with him being a 154 titleist and who he goes against in that deep, fast talent pool right there, because I think there's some dudes that would give him some good smoke.
Hell, he's fighting Rosado next, man. He's fighting Rosado Moreno winner next, man. He ain't fighting nobody at 154.
I agree. I agree.
I actually seen something with his trainer said this will probably be his last fight at 154. So I don't know if that was something to pay attention to or to look.
I wonder why.
But we'll kick it over to our last title fight of this weekend. It's actually a rematch between two southpaws. A pretty controversial match that happened in Japan last year between Shinsuke Yamanaka and Anselmo Moreno. Shinsuke Yamanaka defended his title and beat Moreno. Let me get your take on what's going to happen this time around, starting with 2K as usual, our breakdown analyst experts.
Yeah, and some of them, man, I used to have high hopes for him, man, and Abner Mares fucked it up for me, man, just beat the shit out of my guy. And then ever since then, I mean, he's been pretty up and down. But I know the last fight against Yamanaka was a clear-cut robbery. I had Anselmo Moreno winning 8 rounds of 4. And this is actually a fight, unlike the Cuadras Gonzalez fight, where I actually agree with the 9-3 scorecard for Anselmo Moreno. But yeah, man, he's a slick fighter. He can make his opponent miss with upper body movement. He has excellent upper body movement. He sets everything up with the jab. The only problem I have with him is he starts very slow, Anselmo Moreno, and that's what we saw against Abner Mares. Abner Mares picked up a lead pretty quickly in that fight. He doesn't let his hands go, and his stance is a little too wide. He lacks the lateral movement. He likes to stand there and give you a lot of upper body movement, dodge a lot of your shots that way without actually doing a lot of lateral movement with that. But the good news about that is Yamanaka is the same way. The only difference is he's not as slick. Actually, he's probably not slick at all. Yamanaka is standing right there in front of you just like Anselmo Moreno is, and it's pretty much going to be a battle of the jabs just like it was in the first fight. But he has a very nice straight left hand. He's a bit taller than Anselmo Moreno, but he has a shorter reach. That's how Moreno was able to touch him easier in the first fight. So I see this fight going the same way. Yamanaka has not gotten any better or any worse, and he got the controversial split decision win over Anselmo Moreno before. So I see the fight going the same way. This time they should get the decision right. Moreno should take it.
All right, Jezreel, let me hit you with a different angle about this one because I know you've had the fight scored the same way in Moreno's favor. Of course, it being on Yamanaka's home turf in Japan, and, you know, the way the fans are, every time their fighter throws a powerful punch or it looks like he lands, you know, they're up in awe. You know, do you think, you know, it possibly sways the judges, you know? What do you think Moreno or Anselmo Moreno has to do to avoid the same fate as the last fight?
Do what he did in the second half of the fight, but in particular the ninth round. When he got him hurt, he needs to finish him. I give him credit. He did in that ninth round try to finish him. You know, just couldn't get it done. But he needs to let his hands go at least early. I mean, if you watch that fight and just you watch it on mute, even though I don't have to because I see what my eyes see was one superior fighter, you know, getting screwed over. But he made, I can't even pronounce the dude's name, shit. But he made old boy miss tons of times. He just wasn't active in the first fight. So he just needs to do what he did in the second half and ratchet up the pressure. And I believe that he can stop him. He's not a big puncher, but he showed me that he punches good enough with that right hook to the chin he landed on old boy. And I think he can stop him, but if he doesn't, he's probably going to end up with another bad decision, which is unfortunate for him. But he just needs to apply more pressure, you know, kind of frustrate what's his name, man? I don't want to keep saying no boy. How you feeling?
Yamanaka.
Yeah. Yamanaka, you know, with his defensive movement and just make him pay every chance he gets and really know that this is probably one of his last chances at a title because he's getting up there. in age, you know, so just try to, you know, take this opportunity by the horns and you know, walk out of Japan with that title. But I think he can do it. Will he? That's the bigger question. I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you about his right hook. Whenever he threw that straight left and came back with the right, it was there. So I'd like to see him utilize that a little bit more in this fight because I think he could actually catch Yamanaka, you know, more with it. You know, it was successful in the first fight when he did throw, which was pretty sparingly. So he needs to ramp that up a little bit. We're close to our end of our show. We got a couple more things to do. You know, this week we got our U.O.E.N.O segment again. This day, on this same day, September 14th in 2002, Oscar De La Hoya defeated Fernando Vargas by 11th round KO in probably one of the more exciting bouts. It was a hometown rivalry with both being from the Los Angeles area. Fernando Vargas had talked a lot of trash and, you know, called Oscar a fake Mexican and all kind of stuff, you know, leading up to the fight. And, you know, Oscar got into his ass big time. He really dug in his ass, man. No Vaseline. You know, so,
shout out to Ice Cube.
That was definitely one of my favorite fights of Oscar's when I was coming up, you know, watching them. But with that said, we're going to take it over to El Cuba Loca, a.k.a. Bo from the Truth and Facts About Boxing. He's going to handle our final blow for the week. What you got to say, man, because I know you want to go in.
I'm going to take everybody back to a commercial that we've seen on TV. And it's going to lead up to what I'm talking about. People pull up, they're about to go to this game. They pull up in the car, you know, they got their shirts on, repping the team. They pull up, they blowing the horn, waiting on this dude. Dude comes out. He got his skin colored purple. He got the little clown pants on, his big old wig. He's doing his goofy dance. And they drive off, and it said, be a fan, not a fanatic. And I'm getting to that to say that today's boxing fans are not like the fans of old. Like, I never cared about viewership. I never cared about attendance. I don't remember Howard Cosell ever telling me about the attendance. I remember people would cheer for whoever was in the ring, and they gave respect to the fighters, whether they won or lost. And, you know, they didn't go this back and forth with being concerned with how much a fighter made or how much they bring to the table. There's a quote that I heard somebody say, it might have been one of you guys, that said, what they eat don't make me shit. And I'm getting to that because we got to get, today's fans need to understand that it's our job to make sure the best fights happen, even if it's a style or a fighter that we don't like. That doesn't matter. If people didn't like Buster Douglas, we never would have found out how he could have had that one great night against Mike Tyson. Same thing goes for Leon Spinks. Same thing goes for Joe Smith, who we just saw. Same thing goes for a cat named Eric Walker, who we just recently saw. Okay, be a fan of the sport. Don't be a fanatic. Don't just look at your one fighter and then get so far gone in your caught upness in your one fighter that you start thinking that he can either beat anybody, everybody, when he hasn't proven any of these things. It's okay to like a person, but the bigger picture is the sport of boxing. If we continue to absolve ourselves, and this goes for writers too, okay, because Dan Raphael, he's over in he was over in the UK for the 3G fight, but he can't go down the block in California, Oakland, to watch a promising American guy by the name of Andre Ward. And I think that's a travesty. And here you have this happening. So when you have promoters, when you have fans, when you have writers telling you who ain't worth money or who ain't worth watching, you miss out on something great. What made this sport great was that unknown, and when it happened, we was all mesmerized by what we saw. So don't be a fanatic. Be a fan. The brand is boxing, you guys. The boxing is the business. Fucking business should not be boxing. So let's get back to how the sport used to be, and let's get back to giving respect to these dudes, okay? We saw a guy named Commey give Easter all he could handle. Nobody heard of Commey. But what if people said, what if Easter would say he ain't worth the money? We never would have got that. So let's go back to boxing. Let's get back to the brand, which is boxing.
The doors of the church are now.
All right. And now I'm just going to go ahead and take credit for that. Boxing is the brand, and yeah, thank you for not giving me shout out on that quote, Bo. But that's all good. Bo Garden as usual. I ain't mad at you, bro. I ain't mad at you.
It's called the final take, right? It's called the final take.
Oh man, it's called the final vote.
Okay, isn't it called that? And I'm something years old. I can't remember everything.
Blame it on the shots you took in the amateurs.
Hey, y'all gonna get enough messing with this 61175. I'm gonna tell y'all.
Oh man, don't get him started on that again. Don't get. All right, y'all. That brings us to the conclusion of this week's podcast. I hope you enjoyed. I just want to give a shout out to all of our supporters and everybody. It's not just us. The movement is bigger than us. We got cats like Danger Zone Boxing, Guard Your Grill Boxing. Of course, my affiliates, that I write for myself, Rocky Mountain Boxing and Hoop Jab, big up. We got a Four Corners Boxing Talk, from Chris Henderson, one of our biggest supporters. Undisputed Boxing, all the rooms are in, Undisputed Boxing, the championship rounds. We live, sleep, eat, shit boxing or whatever. All of them. We got Ring IQ, Boxing Talk, TLR, Die Hard Boxing. I just want to give a shout out to all them supporters. Truth and Facts About Boxing. Oh, of course we gonna get to that, man. We gonna get to that, but definitely also to my co-hosts, man, I want to shout them out. We've been doing this only 4 weeks, and we've been getting a lot of good feedback. So big up to y'all for being as good as you are. Staying on top of everything in boxing and taking the time to do this, man. So good looking to my co-hosts. We got Bogard and Bernard from the Truth and Facts About Boxing Talk. We got Big Cool from Colossal Boxing, 2K from the Gods of Boxing Talk, and I am Twine Liberty. And together we are the movement. So thank you for joining us.
Stay tuned for next week.